Hi, and welcome back to the Rollfast vintage bicycle build. And the stage that we're at now is that we have rebuilt the hub, the coaster brake hub on the rear of this bicycle. To do that, I took all the spokes out and completely disassembled the wheel, which allowed me to clean the chrome on this chrome-plated steel wheel, which was very rusty. I cleaned it with aluminum foil and soda pop. The soda pop you want to use has phosphoric acid in it, so look for that on the label. You don't have to use any particular soda pop, but it has to have phosphoric acid in it. Scrub down rusty chrome with aluminum and it'll look nice and shiny. You can still see some pitting and a little bit of rust here and there, so the rim still looks like it belongs on the bike. It's a scarred up vintage bit, but it looks as nice as it can look, and that's the whole goal with this particular bike. This is sort of a cleanup restoration. Leave the scarring on it and the rust, and clean it up and shine it as much as possible and fix all the mechanical parts. So we put new bearings in here and rebuilt the hub. We took all the spokes off, cleaned the rim when we rebuilt the hub, and then we laced it back up properly. There's all kinds of videos on the internet on how to lace a wheel, so I'm not going to show you how I did that. I'll just skip that part, and here we are now. What I'm doing now is I'm truing the wheel, and I'm using the bicycle itself as a truing stand. What I've done here is I've simply used some grocery bag twist ties here and here, wire running through the little plastic housing, and I've taped those in place to hold them there. And I've also taped a piece of tape flatly across here, so these three spots will give me an indicator of whether the wheel is wobbling side to side, because it'll brush these indicator wires, or whether it's out of true this way, as you know, round wise. As far as I can tell, round wise, it's looking pretty good, so I'm happy about that. But you can see it'll wiggle one way or the other. And what I'm doing is, first I'm spinning it several times to figure out which way it predominantly is in line. In other words, if it's mostly okay but it wobbles this way just a couple of times, then I'll fix it by truing those wobbles in here. If it's mostly okay over here, then it wobbles this way just a couple times just to reverse. Now, I'll go around, I'll identify where it's wobbling, and depending on where that wobble is exactly, I'll either tighten one spoke on the opposite side of the hub to pull the rim away that way, or two spokes. And I'll be doing this by turning the one spoke that's right in the middle of the wobble a half a turn. Or if there's two spokes on either side of the wobble, I'll turn each one of those spokes a quarter turn. And I'll do that and slowly tension those areas that are wobbling out to pull them back into true, and I'll get it more or less correct as much as you can for a bike that's older than I am. All right, so that's where we stand now on the 1949 Rollfast. I'm going to true this wheel, then I'm going to true the front wheel. Same process, only I'll use the front forks instead. You can see that wire is scraping on the rim, scraping on the rim, scraping. Oh, now it pulls away, and then it comes back and touches the rim again. And it comes back and touches the rim right about here. And it's pulling away, pulling away, pulling away. Oh. So it left the rim right about here. So give myself a little directional indicator. This way be the dip, and likewise. And I'll go around and I'll iron this out. Spoke wrenches come in different sizes. I have a 0, a 1, and a 2 spoke wrench. You want to have several sizes, so you make sure you use the right size. It turns out that a number 1 fits the nipples on the spokes that I have here. All right, so the wobble is this way. In other words, this is a dip right there in the rim. It's pulling that way right now, and I want to pull it back this way. So I'm going to tighten the spokes that are on this side of the hub to pull it that way. And the way I'll do this is, first I'll identify, okay, here's 1, 2, 3, 4 spokes in this area that are on this side of the hub. I'm going to start by tightening the middle two 1/4 of a turn each. And this gets a little confusing. You want to turn the nipples counterclockwise to tighten them. Or if you're looking at it from above, you're turning it clockwise. Anyway, it gets confusing. All right, so here's 1/4 of a turn on this sucker. Alrighty then. And 1/4 of the turn on this fella here. And we'll go back and check and see what was the result of that handiwork. Well, the wire is closer. That dip is coming out a little bit. Let's tighten both of those spokes gradually another 1/4 turn. This one here. And this one here. You want to be as careful as possible when you're doing this, but it's not rocket science. You're kind of using your best guesstimate. And you can see how that wire is almost in contact with that now. We'll try just a hair's breadth more on each one of those two spokes. So, tighten this just a smidge, like 1/8 is what I'm trying to say. By smidge, I mean 1/8 of a turn. And let's check once again. I think you can see that wobble has almost disappeared at this point. Go back with just a bit more tightening. Another little 1/8. And I believe that the secret to this is gradually sneaking up on where you want to be. Here, that's about as close as I'm going to be able to do it. Now, I'm going to do another little trick here. I'm going to loosen. It seems like the majority of the dip is toward the back side of this section, here to here. The majority of the dip seems to be remaining here. I'm going to loosen these two spokes just a smidge. And this way is to tighten, and this way is to loosen. So, I'll loosen this fella up a wee bit. And this one here too. We'll see what that effect was. Okay, hopefully you can see I've gone through. That wire is touching that rim past the first mark and to the second mark. Let me see if you can see there is not a wobble in that area anymore.
You repeat this process and work your way around the wheel until it's true. Next, we'll move to the front wheel, but first I want to throw on the tire because I'm excited about these new white walls.